What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We are on Lake GUNTERSVILLE today, mid-September. When you think about mid-September and you think about Lake GUNTERSVILLE, I think about frogging and I think about flipping mats. Those are the two dominant patterns this time of year going into the fall. There's a lot of grass. The grass looks really good down here this year. There's a lot of hydrilla out on the main river, which is really good for punching a big weight. So we're gonna do some of that today. As you can see, it's a little bit cloudy. You know, and normally you want a sunny day for flipping those mats, but it's a little bit cloudy. They'll still get under those mats. Don't think they won't. But I don't know, we're just gonna go fish some grass, gonna fish around. I've been down here a couple times in the past couple weeks and had one or two pretty good trips and one or two pretty tough trips. So, you know, we'll see what the day brings. Might get into some schooling fish, I don't know. But stay tuned, we'll see what we can do. All right, guys, we're gonna start right here on this main river grass line and just start picking it apart a little bit, just see if we can get a bite or two. We'll talk about my setup a little bit, what I'm using here. I've got 1 1/4 ounce. Well, let's start with the rod. My rod is a 7'9", extra heavy. Mustad Instinct rod, my signature series. We spent a lot of time getting this punching rod exactly right. I've played around with a lot of punching rods. I've had pretty good success over the course of my career. Punching is one of my favorite ways to catch fish, and your punching setup, it's a system, guys. You got to get everything right. Rod, reel, line, bait, hook, weight. Everything has to be right to put all the odds in your favor. Because I mean, look at this stuff. Look at how thick this stuff is. When I hook an 8-pounder in that stuff, in all actuality, he's got the odds on me. I don't necessarily have the odds on him, but I can, if I get the right setup, I can put things in my favor. And I feel like that's what I've done with this setup. So 7'9", extra heavy rod, 8-to-1 Enigma E-Pon reel, 60-pound vicious no fade braid, 1 1/4 ounce Mustad tungsten weight, a bead, a 3/0 Mustad Grip Pin Max flipping hook, and a little black and blue creature bait. That's my basic setup. Now let's talk about this rod just a little bit more and why I like this rod so much. So actually, when we set out to design this this set of rods with Mustad, it took 3 different prototypes to get this punching rod dialed in the way I wanted it. The first one they sent me was too soft. Second one was still just a little bit too soft and in the wrong places. But the third time we got it exactly right. And what you want in a punching rod, and I've found this over trial and error, you'll see some companies, they'll come out with, and some guys like it, they'll come out with punching rods and they're just stiff as a broomstick. And what happens is, most of the time when you're flipping mats, you don't have over, heck, 20, 30 feet of line out. So what happens is when you flip in there with that braided line and that fish sucks it in, he doesn't have time. It's so responsive, that braid is so responsive. He doesn't have time to grab the bait and turn with the bait and really suck it in his mouth good before you're like, oh my gosh, you're swinging away on him. And what'll end up happening, you won't get a hook in those fish good. So what we did, this rod has a little bit of tip to it. Watch this. You see that tip on that rod? Well, when it gets down to, you know, the bottom 75 to 80% of the rod, it's backbone. That's what you gotta have in a punching rod. You gotta have some tip. It's very important, guys. You gotta have some tip to absorb that bite. But obviously, in this heavy cover, when you need horsepower, this rod's got that too. 7'9" is the best all-around size. I've played around with anything from a 7'6" to an 8-foot punching rod. The 7'9" is the best all-around size. And going back to my rod building days, a 7'9" rod is what I built. You know, when I used to build my own rods. So that's what we kind of based this one off of, and turned out really good. still there, I think. Yep, there he comes. That's a nice one. Pretty nice. Hope y'all saw that. The camera got a little jacked up on that hook set. Sorry about that. Nice fish though. Man, these grass fish this time of year. See, that fish doesn't have any other hook holes in his mouth. He doesn't look like he's been caught. He's healthy. He's fat. He knocked the fire out of it. That was fun. Let's see if we can get another one. Man, I love catching them that way. That's so much fun. You can tell a lot about the way they bite whenever you're flipping mats too. That one, he grabbed it whenever I was hopping it up, and he really just took off with it. He didn't just sit there with it, he just took off with it. So that was a really aggressive bite, which is an encouraging sign. Maybe there's some more fish in there, or maybe he was just hungry. I don't know. See if we can get another bite right in here. I only got one to eat it good in there. Show y'all what I did right there. So I pulled up to this mat. This one's on the back side of the river and it's a little bit thinner. So I went down to a 1 ounce. That's the cool part about those mustad weights. They've actually got the weight imprinted on the actual weight. That way you don't have to guess. But this mat's a little bit thinner, and I had a rod rigged up with a 1 ounce. So I tried it, and he ate it a whole lot better. He's about the same size as that first one. Nice fish. All right, maybe we figured a little something out with that lighter weight. See if we can catch another one. Got him. That's a pretty decent one. I think, yeah, he's still on there. Now we're getting better. Look at that. That mustad, man, when it gets them, it pegs them right in the top of the head a lot of times. Man, them fish are pretty. You see how dark that fish is? He'd been living in that mat for a while. They are liking. It's amazing what a slight change of area and a slight change of presentation going down to that 1 ounce. Pretty amazing what that can do. I went for 2 hours, didn't get a bite. Came over here and I've had 5 bites in 20-25 minutes. I like that. Let's catch another one. There he is. Got that one. They're hitting it so dang hard. They're grabbing it, taking off through the mat. By the time I set the hook, they've done moved with it 5 or 6 feet. I got that one. I've missed a couple, but I got that one. He's not big. Maybe barely a keeper, but he was fun. He made a mess, I know that. Now let me show you guys something right here, right quick. All right, these fish, there's 3 or 4 different types of grass in here. There's eelgrass, there's hydrilla, there's a little bit of coontail, and knowing the different types of grass that you're dealing with is a big deal. Big deal, because you need to be able to duplicate it. It's just like going down the bank and you catch a fish off a rock or a dock or a piece of wood. Same kind of deal. So this one right here, this is hydrilla. Okay, it's got these little bitty leaves on it. It's really good stuff. That's what most of these bites have come out of. This is called coontail. You see how you find one stalk right here? It sort of looks like a coon's tail, hence the name coontail. There's also some eelgrass in here. You can see the eelgrass. Pick some up for you. That's eelgrass. And there's also a little bit of milfoil mixed in here as well, but it's predominantly hydrilla. And what we've got here, so there's eelgrass blown in on the edge of this stuff, and then once you get over in there, it's matted up hydrilla. All my bites are coming when it turns from eelgrass to hydrilla on that inside, kind of that inside line on the transition from the eelgrass to the hydrilla. That's where most all my bites are coming. So if I could give you one piece of advice when it comes to punching and learning grass and reading grass, first thing is just know what kind of grass you're dealing with. That's a big deal, guys. All right, guys, let's go wrap it up for today. Had a fun day. Good way to spend a Friday. And anytime I get to flip mats and catch them out of that thick grass like that, that's a good day to me. But I had about, 12, 15 bites on a 6-hour period today that I was on the lake. So, I mean, a pretty dang good day in the grand scheme of things. No giants, but some good solid fish, some good 2.5, 3 pound fish, and they were all healthy. They all looked really good. Didn't look like they had a bunch of hook holes in their mouth or anything like that. So, I feel like I was kind of in a good area. Kind of the key today was when I went from that 1.5 ounce down to that 1 ounce. That was the deal. I got a lot more bites on a 1 ounce today than I did 1.5 ounces. And when you get on that thinner stuff on the backside of the river channel, you can get by with that 1 ounce. But that was the deal today. Could be totally different tomorrow if you came back, but we'll see what we get into next time. I appreciate you guys watching. Come back next time. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, share the video with your buddies, and please hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys. See you next time.